Hey, welcome to Early Access Control Alpha, Beta, and Abandoned. And what we're doing right now is we are going to talk about Pantropy, and we're going to take a look at it pretty soon too. This game launched in January 31st, 2019 by Brainstone. Now this game is kind of a newer game than normally I cover in my abandonment section of my YouTube channel, but here we are. We're looking at a game that looks fantastic. Had a great following. I followed it for a little while had it on my wish list. It came out. I thought, I could be really kind of into this, and then it came around to purchasing it, and I had a second feeling of going like, I don't know if I can take on another survival game, and it kind of feels to me like my personal take on it, the whole feeling of the survival genre is just really kind of tough for me to get into right now. And the last one I really kind of played intensively was Conan Exiles, and when you're benchmarking a game like a survival building game, that's a really high benchmark in my opinion, because I think that game was fantastic. But talking about this game, the reason why I'm doing a video on it is it's so strange because it looks like it has the makings of a certain game that has a certain degree of longevity. And I say that because, the art's decent, the gameplay from what I've experienced is decent. I haven't done very much in game, but there seemed to be a lot of people behind it, and I had a bunch of people that were fairly active. So here this game comes along, launches, and then it does it has a really short development cycle. Like the updates ceased in March, and so now you're looking at a game that near in 6 months is kind of like hasn't had anything, right? And people have begun to ask questions about what the heck's going on, and why isn't where's the developer? Why isn't he saying anything? All the typical red flags that I kind of cover in my videos, and this is like an alarming one because it seems like a really good game. And then you get to watching the community, and I've lurked around the Discord, and there's a bit of Discord on the Discord, but it's one of those things where you're kind of in a little bit of shell shock because their developer just hasn't said boo to anybody, and nobody really has an answer of what's going on. And I get that certain things arise, and we cover them all the time in the videos that I make. But here's a prime example of you got a successful product. If you really want to keep this thing alive, you've got to talk to your community, because you just can't not say anything to them, because sure as hell that's going to cause your game to die. And it's already in the point about, it's over 3 months without saying a word, and that's my rule of thumb. It's pretty much it's abandoned at that point. And the fact that a forum user, I'm not going to name any names or anything like that, but they did some digging, and they ended up coming across, I guess, an Upwork or a freelancer account that the developer has been using for, to obviously do some side work. So that points to financial reasons that are going on behind the scenes, and it's unfortunate. But you know what? When you're doing that as a developer, you need to kind of just let your community know, and maybe you never know. Like maybe people are going to be sympathetic to your plight, and they might. You never know. It's early access, right? The community's here to support the developer, and if you're not part of that's kind of symbiotic relationship between both of you, then it's gonna fail. Like it's so frustrating because your community knows that you're doing stuff, but you're not working on the game, and so right then and there, they're not going to stick with you, and that's the easiest way to kind of put it. Unless you're being honest and kind of telling them about what it is you need to be working on in order to pay some bills. Just say, hey, my hydro is going to be cut off if I don't make X amount of dollars, and blah blah blah, right? But anyways, developers should really know this, and it leads into another kind of key point that I want to make in another video about the longevity and the idea of putting a survival game out into early access, and the ideas of what could make them successful. Because people might think that it's easier said than done, I guess, is the best way to put it. There's certain things that you got to realize when you're tackling indie development, putting a game like a survival game out into the early access ecosystem, is that they're so much harder to survive than numerous other games, and I'll touch base into that on a whole different video. But you know what? If you're reaching into the genre to release an early access game, you have one hell of a fight in order to make it survive. It's probably the hardest out of every game in early access is releasing an indie into the survival genre. So just remember that. So anyways, let's take a look at the game itself. I'm not going to play it too much. Whoa. Let me just go to my library here. And I'm, like I said, like I don't really, I'm not interested in doing excuse me, a let's play or anything like that, because I don't do let's plays for games that have been abandoned. I show you what they're like and intentionally hold off from doing those kind of things because I don't believe anybody should kind of aid in the advertising of a game that's been abandoned and still for sale. So I think everyone knows that who might be following along in this little journey of ours. But so right now we'll take a look at the environment, the art, the UI. I can show you all those kind of things, and I would gladly show you more, but there's a lot of footage out of this game. People have done a lot of great let's plays if you're very inclined to buy it. But at this point, when the developer is completely AWOL, I would advise you not to, because your money is going to go to strictly this product, and these products get really tired fairly quickly because you can exhaust the content. And that's the whole survival genre. And that's why people tend to turn to the developers and go, hey, we need a content update because, I'm done building this massive structure with the same amount of, brick textures that I've already had for a while, right? And it never really kind of lasts. So here we are. We're inside Pantropy. I don't even remember the hotkeys to open anything. Hold on. Options. V. Okay. That's a map. Brings up everything. Inventory. Excuse me. So there appears to be a decent amount of things that you can kind of craft at this point. I don't 100% know how recipes kind of work if you learn them through skill points and stuff like that. Research. So okay, so you spend your credits. Gotcha. You can research things. There's no real character loadout, so I mean it's a first-person game, so you're going to be limited at exactly what you're going to see for kind of armor and weapons and stuff like that. I did mess around with trying to like collect stuff, but I really don't have a clue on how to gather stuff. I have my little pickaxe here, and I walked up to a tree, and I really kind of like, I'm trying to do it, but I don't appear to be getting anything. What we can do is, I believe there was a guide. Okay, your first base. So it looks like we're primarily after ores. Doesn't really say much about wood. So I'm just gonna go look around, try to find some ore, and we'll take it back. And there appears to be some, some monsters, some AI that you can fight. Normally when people release a survival game that's multiplayer, they do with the intention that there's going to be some player-made content through PvP. So I did see in the video that you can fight with mechs and stuff like that, and there obviously is going to be some sort of player versus player engagement. Unfortunately, that tends to be like something a lot of developers will throw in their games, hoping that it's going to last or it's going to actually buy them more time than it actually, requires to do a whole different type of, game system that they might have been thinking about doing. And I say that, not negatively per se, because I know a little bit about game development, but it's definitely something that a group of people crave, and then when the player base stops playing it, because maybe there's not enough content or they haven't heard anything from the developer, anything like that, then people stop playing or they just get bored, right? Like it's a survival genre that's got its limitations. And when people start getting bored, then your self-made content through the player base is just going to evaporate because nobody, no one's going to try to PvP with one other person playing around the huge map. I mean, I've done that before and it doesn't work out very well. So now the map looks fairly decent. It's one of these grid maps. It always reminds me of Ark. Yeah, so it looks like some ore right here. All right, there we go. And anyways, like these games are they're pretty self-explanatory, right? Like when it comes to a let's play, I think most people are interested in how the UI is going to look and what are the textures going to look like. Like what kind of building system is it going to use? Does it have decent performance, and those kind of things, right? Those are essentially what you're looking for, I think, for the most part. And well, at least when I do when I look at a let's play, and it just makes me want to know if I'm going to be happy when I get in the world. At this point, I haven't really. I'm just kind of have a real kind of meh feeling. It's not a full of awe and wonder. I haven't seen any life. It's not like that first time you kind of stepped in Ark, or a different big wild kind of sci-fi. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Sci-fi survival game. So it's perhaps people had hope that maybe this might be kind of like Ark, and maybe it had something different. I don't know. I mean, it's clear the developer was trying to put their own spin on this kind of these kind of games, and I'm definitely not trying to knock it, but at the same time, excuse me, survival games, they're very niche at this point in time. The days are gone of everybody running and logging into not DayZ, sorry, 7 Days to Die or The Forest or any of those games. You're facing an uphill battle when you're developing a survival game, period, regardless of what the setting is or anything like that. So, yeah. So I really think that's all that you can kind of gather right now. Crafting. Oh, so it looks like it's pretty simple. You gather this kind of stuff, and feldspar, that's rock, I imagine. I don't know, peeps. We could go on to kind of do this for a lot longer. The fact is, right now the game is kind of sitting as it. I'll just craft a couple pieces to make, make this hopefully kind of. What do I need? Okay, let's go craft. Sweet. Put on a hotbar. Whoa, what's going on? All right. Add inventory, hotbar, implants. What? What am I doing? There we go. See, I mean, there's a lot of things I kind of like about the look and feel of the game. I mean, it's not unlike any survival game we've kind of played, but it's always nice to kind of explore and experience kind of a new environment. And I think those after that initially fades in games like this, then you're kind of left waiting for that content to drop. And if it doesn't drop, then people will start looking for other games to play. So with that said, I'm going to kind of just end it right here. I never like to keep my videos too long, but I would definitely love to discuss this further. So if anybody knows anything more about Pantropy and exactly what's going on behind the scenes, please reach out to me and let me know what the dealio is, and we'll kind of keep following this. But as it stands right now, from my perspective, that's way too long without communication, so it's basically abandoned. And unfortunately, I wouldn't advise anybody to support this, not until you know where this developer is gone, and he kind of owes his community an explanation. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.